Hey everyone, Rob Novakast here, and I kind of want to do a quick video. Um, I've been kind of wondering of what to say about it, because honestly, this has been an interesting experience to watch. But overall, I kind of want to give my thoughts, like just last minute thoughts on it. Um, so first, I guess initially, Elden Ring. Elden Ring that came out this previous year has been, for lack of a better word, a good or bad game, depending on who you are. I myself, personally, I'm not that great when it comes to difficult games, but to an extent, I respect it for what it is. A game that pushes you, to challenge you, to give yourself an opportunity to improve yourself. I'm not saying go get good. I'm saying gives you the opportunity to, use your brain, come up with different tactics to defeat different enemies or different bosses and so on. Increase your level, as well as, find different equipment that would help you with the next battle. But you have people that this previous year who have been dishonest with certain reviews. Certain individuals, like, not even giving it 5 minutes of its time because it's too hard. Some people giving it, a pass because they attacked an NPC that they weren't supposed to and got pissy because the NPC kept attacking them. Or in Quantum TV's case, or in individuals like Quantum TV, you have an individual who made a review, insulted most of the fan base, and to an extent, when people called him out, he went on a 3-part rant about why the game is bad, how the community is bad, and told everybody to go unalive themselves. Which then in turn caused people like Review Tech USA, the Ackman, and many others to step in, as well as give their thoughts. And to a degree, call him out, as well as bring up some of the shady things that he has done, some of the despicable things that he has done and said, as well as being very dishonest to the initial content that he's supposed to be posting. But moving past that, recently we had the Game of the Year awards, and oh boy, there were quite a few games, which honestly were really cool. God of War being one of them, Stray, thinking of a few on the top of my head, and of course Elden Ring. Each and every one of these games that came out this previous year got a variety of different nominations. Some of them even got awards. God of War getting a few. I believe Elden Ring getting a few. As well as us getting a variety of different, announcements for games. Now, to an extent, the reason I'm making this video is probably the fallout of the final, I guess one of the final announcements for the awards. Game of the Year. And Game of the Year going to Elden Ring, which, to a degree, a variety of different people were very, very, very salty about. Quantum TV being one of them. Claiming that the game doesn't deserve it, that there's no story, that if it had an easy mode, people wouldn't play it. Which, knowing gamers, a lot of gamers, by the way, no, depending on whether the game's easy or not, people are gonna pick and pull at any type of game, and take as much time as they want to. But I want to talk about a few things, because to an extent, I find it funny, especially with people like Quantum TV that claim that games like Elden Ring have no story. Now, to a degree, I think he's mentioned that he isn't a Souls player game. The storytelling, just going through that first, and especially for every Souls game, has been kind of within the background of each and every game. whether it be the dialogues that you interact with, or the NPCs you interact with their dialogue discussing the issues or what's going on with the world, or let's say the random item that you pick up, or weapon, or piece of art of clothing or armor that has a description discussing moments in the game or in the game's history. The story itself isn't in your face. Sure, you'll have like maybe an intro discussing briefly what's going on, but the rest of the story, everything else is in the background, and it's up to you of whether or not you want to go and explore and just kind of go through every nook and cranny to find it. Now, gameplay. At times I do wish there was an easy mode, but in the end, that's the way that the From Software games have been made. A game that challenges you, a game that ultimately causes you to think. And I'm not going to say get good, which to an extent I feel is dumb. But regardless, something that I respect the Souls games for is their ability to make you think, to improve, and that's like ultimately as you play the game. Yes, if you die multiple times, you're gonna learn. You're gonna ultimately learn from your mistakes and get better. Like a slow dodge, to an extent, misjudging your dodges, or whatever attacks you use, or to an extent whatever spells or weapons you use. All of that matters, and to an extent, whatever, like how you play the game when it comes down to mixing and matching your abilities, your strengths, and your buffs and debuffs, it's all on you. So to an extent, I don't think Elden Ring is bad because it's difficult, it's too hard. No, it's a game that makes you learn. Now, there's one thing I will admit is, I think I've already addressed it, especially with the Get Good comment, is one thing that has been brought up is some of the community is toxic, which, yeah, some of them are. But you know what you have to do then? And this is coming from somebody who's a lowly YouTuber, somebody who on and off gives his opinions. You ignore them. And ultimately, when you're playing a game, or if you're doing a live stream, people say stupid shit, and you ignore them. You don't let them get to you, which I've found to be one of the biggest freaking, like, just the dumbest decisions that people make is, as they do a video or be a content creator, allowing people to get in their heads when it comes to what comments they make. So ultimately, I think when it comes down to it, because again, I think a lot of these people who have said things about this game didn't really give it a chance, should ultimately, instead of just playing it for 5 minutes, which, looking at some of the reviews that have been on, like the negative reviews that have been on YouTube, as well as some of the people, it just seems like they only played it for a short time and just, gave a review. And to an extent, not only, not even giving it the time, but also being very dishonest. Especially when it comes down to the claims of it being, poor on graphics, which, have you seen that game? The game is freaking gorgeous. So, if any of these people were to listen to me, which I'm sure they won't, but just to get my own thoughts out of the way, for some of you who more likely only gave it 5 minutes of playtime, just give it another shot. Give yourself the opportunity to learn from mistakes, to get better, to improve, to ultimately, and if you don't have to play in one sitting, and again, this is a game that you don't play in one sitting. You can try to, but it's going to be difficult, and you're going to get frustrated. As you guys have seen, again, if you guys have seen on my channel, I have periodically posted videos of me playing Elden Ring. Not like going straight for the bosses, but more so exploring, collecting loot, finding secrets, and so on. Just to, honestly, at this point, just to fuck around. At this point, for that game. So, to an extent, give it a shot. Explore. Don't kill the NPCs that tell you not to kill them. Pay attention, actually, for some people, pay attention to the tutorial. Because that was one complaint, claiming that, they didn't know how to play it. To an extent, pay attention to how you level up your characters. And overall, just, I think ultimately just give it a shot. And this is, again, and this isn't coming from somebody who's a complete fanboy, but from somebody who kind of respects what From Software tried to do with this game, as well as some of the other Souls player games. So, anywho, that's my final thoughts. What do you guys have to say? Leave in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as checking our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys next video.